up, everybody? How's it going? Yo! I hate how it does that, man. I fucking hate it. Point, dude. So I want to qualify this. I'm going to qualify this right now by saying, generally speaking, I don't synthesize my own drums. I mean, it's something you can do and is incredibly powerful. Hey, Cass Jeff, how's it going? Hey, everyone, how are you doing today? Like, is everything cool? It must be fucking warm everywhere right now. It feels like the world's melting. What do you mean, climate change? Yeah, it's cold in the North Pole right now. So climate change is obviously a myth. I don't mean that. So yesterday I did do a little bit of like quick double checking research on how best to go about these things. So I made some hits, like, but we'll ignore that for now. Yeah. So there are 2 or 3 ways that I go about making my hits. Would you guys prefer first to see break processing or synthesis? Generally speaking, I don't get as molecular on my drum production, like creation, sorry, but it's kind of fun. Both, yeah, we'll be doing both, don't worry. Which you got? Let's go with synthesis first. That's kind of where I'm at. New Logic Pro features, there aren't that many for me. Like what? You've got the sampler, which is kind of cool, but I don't like sampling my drums personally. And I guess we can get into that and why that would be. So break processing, there's kind of two ways that I get my drum hits together. One of them is using Serum and a couple of audio files. Right, let's just jump straight in. I'm gonna make a Serum here. And we're going to make our fundamental. So, oh my God. You know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to do a quick be right back on the stream, and I'm going to restart my computer. Hi. Everything, like, my computer is already feeling like it's, like, taking everything cool. Oh, shit. Actually, part of the reason why I kind of inhale my food is because I do intermittent fasting basically every day. I pretty much eat 1 meal a day. I eat usually around 8 o'clock, and then I stop eating around 10:30 p.m. and that's it. No calories between then. So black coffee, Barocca, and water. Yeah, why though? There was a while back I was starting to put on weight, and it was just because I was snacking at my desk, and generally speaking, like I'm not that hungry all day. It's just kind of like because it was something to do, and you know, nice food, nice taste, and nice. Like I don't do it literally every day. Like if I'm tired or if I'm like traveling that day, I don't bother with that shit because it is, you know, it's obviously a bit of an undertaking. It's a lot. It's a lot if you're like really going for it. Did I find it difficult? No, because I was already kind of half doing it. I don't know how difficult it would be if you're somebody who really relies on their 3 meals a day, or you get low blood sugar really easily and you like crash. If that's how you are, then maybe you would find it a lot more difficult. For me, I kind of, the transition to it was pretty fucking easy, to be completely honest. So definitely try it out. Like you can have black coffee and water, and that's pretty much it. I don't know about super healthy, but like generally I try and make sure I'm getting like vegetables and stuff. And then I do eat fruit for a while after. I eat a huge meal though. Like, you know, sometimes it will just be pizza because fucking you have to live your life. Fruit mono diets are the shit. Yeah, fruit's got fucking loads of good shit in it. I mean, like I'm not a huge like nutritionally minded person. Right. So we're gonna start off with Serum opening and taking like 40 seconds to open. So first thing I'm going to do, so a snare fundamental is around, go away spotlight, I didn't ask for you to be here. Snare transient is usually around I think it's a G2. God, Logic already. Yeah, that's about right. That is about 200 hertz. I get asked about my pizza toppings every stream. It's funny. I like how it's like the first thing people ask. I like what is it? Pepperoni and sausage. That's what I go for. So we're gonna make this first, actually, because generally speaking, I know that most of you won't have this. So first, I'm gonna make this, and I'll explain why in a moment. Sine wave. I'm gonna fucking flip vertically. Sine wave and a triangle wave. So the reason we're going to have a triangle wave is what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to fade between those two things. And what that will do is it'll kind of simulate the fundamental sort of distorting, which is what happens. So a lot of the time with things like this, you need to think of it in terms of reality. Like something hits the snare and and then like the membrane of the snare will like oscillate or vibrate and stuff. So that's generally the way I think about synthesizing snares at least anyway. So sine and then an in-phase triangle. So we're just gonna morph and we're gonna crossfade those. So we have this. Wow, the frame rate on, oh God, it's so horrible. I really like, it'll cool down as the day progresses, so we'll be okay. I'm gonna open my window a little more too. Damn, this is a struggle. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Thank you, Elg33333. No, Elgy. I bet it's Elgy. And we need new emotes. Yeah, thermal throttling is a 1. Super fucking hot. Nice serum skin. This is anthracite fire. That's what it is. Cool. Oh, how I love you, sine wave. Yes, throwback. Love it. Fucking totally here for it. So we have ourselves a cheeky little fucking snare thing here. So we're just gonna settle a loop. So this is where we start. How long till I get partnered on Twitch? I need to find out if it's possible to negotiate being able to stream on other platforms from time to time, because, or exactly how that works. And so I think we need to negotiate with them slightly, just because, like, if like a big company that are streaming on YouTube or something want me to do a live stream on there, I don't want to lose my partnership to be able to take that opportunity, you know? Luzoid, you don't have to donate, but thank you so much. If that's what you're trying to do. So we start here. So we're going to deliberately start off axis. I mean, on axis. And the reason being that your snare skin is like, before it's hit, it's just flat. It's just there. It's in the room. And then it gets hit. So it starts, like, if you know what I mean. It wouldn't start off axis. So generally I find for drum and bass, you don't want to be working for more than like 1/8 of space for the volume of your hit. So we're just going to have the attack on 0 and the release on probably just a little bit. Elderly LD, thank you. Banging pizza toppings. Hope the stream goes well and we're in good community because we have a great, oh shush. I'm a terrible person. I think I'm going to start lower. I think let's shoot for a nice low snare. Hype train already. This is how it goes. Oh no. Cass Chaff has seen the train. Cass, control yourself. Wow, Logic's hating this. Like, I wasn't making it play over and over. That's just Logic doing that. There it is, Cass. Cass Chaff. Damn you, Cass Chaff. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. God, we've been going for like Not long. We're already here. Okay, Logic seems to be chilling out a bit right now, which is nice. Hey, thank you, Reiki1994. Yeah. Bong Dude in with the fucking match. I love it. Thank you, Bong Dude. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a small kind of pitch differential. And the reason that is that generally when you hit something hard, the tension of that membrane will force it to vibrate slightly faster than its actual fundamental. So what we want to do is just kind of go up here. Actually, if we, wait, there's a better way to do this. 0, and then we'll get rid of that. No, then have that modulation go here. So what it's going to be doing is it's going to be settling down at its bottom. So we end up with like a slightly more sort of, it's less of a like just a pitch. Hype train speed run. Please don't. I always feel guilty. Yeah. Can I still order the vinyl in the EU? I believe so. Yeah, there's loads. I think there's still some unsold. See, that's starting to sound a bit like a snare. So this is just like, you're just going to be shaping these things up, and we're going to have complete control over this sound. Like, what's great about it? Oh gosh, 50. I feel like that's the most you've ever done, isn't it, Cast Chaff? Thank you. Fuck. Yeah. Right, we're going to have a fair few years going on for a while now. Drink a Barocca. I'm out of Barocca. I ran out and I didn't get any more yesterday when I went shopping because I'm an idiot. I know. I'm out of Barocca. I just forgot to get some. Oh, man. Thank you, Cast Chaff. Fuck. Man, I don't know what to do. All right, so now I'm going to just... so this one is not going to be set to an 8th because this is going to be our fast little kind of punchy bit. Thank you, Lord Neozg. Thank you very much. Oh wait, that's a kick. Right, so we're gonna have this, which is gonna be from quite high, but very fast. Yeah. We have a snare. Put a kick with that, and we start hearing that that's actually a snare. Right? I hope you guys can hear that too. Yeah. Like that's where it's going. So fucking hell, Cast Chaff, man. And we can do more or less with this one. Like, if we want like a softer snare that maybe sounds like it's been hit less hard, we can go down here. Or if we want it to be really hard hit, we can go like all the way. Right? Don't follow on Serum necessarily. Try and understand why I'm doing the things I'm doing, because what I don't want to be doing is I don't want to necessarily, like, I don't mind if you guys watch this back or something and copy everything I do. Fine, do that if you will. But what I would love for you guys to be able to take away from when I do something like this is why these decisions are being made, and I'm trying my best to say so. So, like, we've got that small pitch fall that's quite slow because of the snare, like, kind of catching up with the pressure, and then you've also got this one, which is kind of like the initial big pressure from a hit. It's like, yeah. Yeah, like if you understand why I'm making the choices I'm making, then you can make these choices in your own way and have a sound that is your own and hopefully is good, you know? Like understanding the thought behind these things is super important. How fast you do this will change the snare quite a lot. Generally, I prefer that because it's usually a bit more realistic. So then I would go, like we have a fundamental. Usually what I will do is I will send these all to the same place, somewhere like, you know, just a bus. For now, like I'm not going to do anything in there. So what we will do is we'll go into my snares folder. Now, this is where maybe you can't completely follow along necessarily. But yeah, I'd rather you learn how to catch fish than take my fish, you know? Or copy my fish, I guess, in this situation. So, like, I prefer to use kind of worse snare sounds, ones that you wouldn't necessarily use on their own. Just because, like that's kind of crappy. Like, you wouldn't use that on its own, but if you start putting these things with things, you start getting snares, right? Like, already there. Lindrum, thank you so much for the raid. Holy shit. Damn, thank you so much. Hello, everybody. You've joined halfway through a 50 gift sub rolling through, which is bad. So a lot of yeah. So yeah, so you could use that, or you could use fucking, or that one's kind of crap. That one, make sure you're low cutting samples that already have stuff in them. So, you know, we'll just overlay title. Oh, live track breakdown. Yeah, you're right. Okay, let me quickly swap over to that. You're right. Cast Jeff, thank you so much. Gotta wait for monitor to switch over. Coffee's kicking in. Let me just quickly properties. All right, 1 second, everybody. Hold the phone. Drum prod day. Drum prod day. I'm gonna put a fucking. I'm gonna do that. Drum prod day. Done. Cool. Back to work. Coffee time with Stan. Yeah. I'm gonna crash in like an hour, and you guys are gonna be like, Stan. Oh. All right. Yeah. So many years. Okay. So yeah, if we get rid of this on here, that's our fundamental. So what we can do is like we can take this hit, completely EQ it to whatever we want. Like you can find lots of bad samples, like just samples that have something about them. So this one's just got like a bit of, you know, and we're using that. Maybe we'll want to put a clap over this. I wonder what we have. How do I like Saturn 2 so far? I love it. It's basically, they fixed all the problems I had with it. Get like a clap. And just like a pretty basic 909 style clap. Put that in there, probably turn it down a bit. Got a snare. I think that could do with being pitched up slightly. The clap, I mean. But do you see how these parts kind of come together in a way? Like if you that's nice. I like that. So like, if you listen to these samples, we've got, let me check the ones that we've put in here. So if we check these samples out, we've made this from a transient, this sample, and this clap, and it's our own snare. Like, no one's going to tell you off for using HS14, whatever the fuck that's from. Like, no one's going to be like, yeah, I know that snare from a pack, because this is now my snare. Another thing you can do, that you have the control over, is you can completely change the snare just by bringing this up here. Different snare. Like, and if you want to get crazy, you could get like find something mad like that. That sounds horrible. But if we put, if we grab this and put a load of reverb on it and then compress that reverb and then turn that into audio, we suddenly have this wide thing. So I don't think there's such a thing. Scoot's asking a very important question, which is probably what we're going to get onto in a couple hours. I just kind of realized I started seeing the dots. Like I kind of got rolling, as you know, it happens sometimes. So what I would say is the mistake is mixing your snare improperly. Like, I think the worst snares aren't crappy sounding snares. They're snares that are trying to sound hi-fi but actually fail. And so that's often down to a relationship between the fundamental and the tops. Like, when you're creating these things together, you have to listen to it sounding, I guess, correct or good to you. And you can always just straight up, like, these should all go to the same spot. And if you just distort these together, for example, a 6. Now I've got a distortion over here. If we just distort these together, wait, that's still just that sample. And I want to mute that one because we're going to process that one. But if we put all these together, distort it, and we have a snare. And if we look at that snare, I would assume it looks pretty fucking good. Look at that. If you want to, you can shorten your fundamental. Like, these are all just things you can do. Fundamental, do that. Maybe fucking do that, but then like turn it up loads. Different kind of snare. You can re-EQ these things. Yeah, I mean, and we just made that. I fucking was winging that too. Like, this, you can just pull shit in and like be like, okay, I like this about this. I'm gonna just bring that in, take this away from it with EQ, and then just feed these things into things. Or do I look for a waveform to know it looks good? In this case, I'm looking for definition on the transient, and I mean definition on the fundamental. Wait 1 second, let me freeze it. There you go. I'm looking for being able to see this. Like, it's really bassy and then it's not, right? That's kind of what I'm looking for. The transient is currently coming from the fundamental, but this is kind of early days for this particular snare. We will fuck with the transient soon, and I think that'll show you some really cool shit. So I'm actually, what I'll do, let's have a listen to a couple different pitches for this fundamental, and we'll see where I like it best, I guess. So we got. I like it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do so I don't know if you guys know about this, but on the new version of Serum, you can do this, and it's mental. It exports the last note played. Fucking crazy. Because if I do this, wait, do that, and then pull this out. Wait, no, it's here. Sorry, pull this out. I now have that one as an audio file. How mad is that? So cool. Super useful for workflow. That's just on the new free Serum update. Yeah. It's Baroccafundo Clark. Thank you, Laminar. I will cherish those. Hey, Chase That Cat. I totally missed your gift subs. Thank you so much. It's because the year's been going off. It kind of makes me stop noticing stuff. Lucan as well. Okay, just making sure I didn't miss any others. Okay, thank you. Literally, okay, so up here, there's this little icon. That's how you do it. Oh wait, that might be behind the overlay. There's a little icon up here. And I just literally drag it off that. So I've got this here, which is our fundamental. So we can actually mute this now. We have all this. How I did what music by Night? The newest version's only just been released. So maybe that's what you're missing. So you guys can see here that if we look at all this, if we zoom in a load, thank you. Oh, those bits have already come through, have they? Or is it about to update? I will wait. I will see in a moment. So if we come in here, you'll notice that actually this snare's beginning is kind of soft. Like, I'm actually going to fade this one in. So we'll just give it one fade in. I didn't mean to do that. That was me looping a very, very, very small amount of the snare. So currently this snare's soft at the beginning. We'll fix that in a bit. So we've got this kind of terrible sample there. You know, you could even Oh god, it's horrible. You could even get something that's like an explosion or some Foley, or you could just fucking, you could hit a plastic bag with a spoon and record that with a mic. You can do so many things. You can do so many things with this. But what I'm going to do here, for example, is this one. I'm going to get that and fucking cover it in reverb. I quite like Valhalla plate for this, but you can use any reverb. Yeah. So there's actually a really good one. Don Gun. What is it? Short brassy snare. We're actually going to make it long. Thank you for the dono. I just heard that come up. Below what frequency do I care about phase issues? That depends. If we're talking time phase, probably around 150 and below. But if we're talking vertical phase, everywhere. But that's a very different topic, and I think that if we get talking about that, if we go out and get talking about that, that'll be that'll be a big sidetrack. I'm happy to talk about that again sometime. You want me to hit a plastic bag with a spoon? I don't think I have a plastic bag. Yeah, I don't have a plastic bag in here. Otherwise, I'd be super down. I got my spoon ready. Where did I learn about phase? By looking at waveforms. You know, a few people have been asking me about this, actually. Would I recommend this software for beginners? It depends what kind of musician you want to become, what kind of producer you want to become. For me, I use Logic because I know for a fact that I'm always going to be recording things. And if you're going to be recording like performances as opposed to just like single one hits, I would recommend using Logic just because of the way that it handles comping, which is where you can compare different pieces of audio and choose the best bits of each. And then, yeah. Vertical phase is kind of a term I use that I don't think is actually a thing. Like, but yeah, it's a weird one. So we got this. Let's not take the high end off. Yeah. Big width. Less width. Tycho 6, thank you so much. Don't start with GarageBand. No, I think Ableton's quite beginner friendly, I would say, personally. Like, there's things I don't like about Ableton, but I would never recommend against using Ableton, ever. So you have that. I'm going to bounce that in place. Okay. Did it render the... Oh, it did. Cool. So now we have this. This is going to be a really useful layer because it's going to add room. So let's have a listen. So actually, I'm gonna little thing flying in my face. FL, Ableton, Logic, and Cubase are the three that I would recommend to anybody using. I don't know what is best. Okay, I'm gonna duplicate this here because I think we can get a cool transient out of this too. So let's just normalize this thing. Lovely. So this is going to be our general snare tail body thing, and it's going to be large. We might even put some crazy weird effects on this, like flanging it and shit. We can get weird. I mean, like, if you watch back my videos, I don't use any functionality in Logic that's really weird. I just kind of use all of it in... Oh, sorry, shit, that was loud. You hear how we're getting tones out of this now, right? So I don't know how this volume compares, but hey, snare. Actually, yeah, it might be quite quiet, all of it, because, yeah. Let's see how this is looking. Oh yeah, this is still frozen. That's healthy. Very healthy. There is no distortion bus right now. I took the distortion off because I was kind of more just illustrating how it will be, because I'm going to do that a little bit more carefully later on. But like, yeah, maybe we could actually get away with doing it now. You're probably right. Let's get Saturn 2 out. Well, the new single will be out. Ooh, a while. I don't know how long exactly. So, tape's not going to do it. Probably going to be saturating it. Maybe gentle saturation. Let's see what we're looking at here. That isn't saturating. What isn't sent there? Or am I sending everything to... Oh! I haven't sent the fundamental there. Fucking learn to do it, Stan. Get Lemon 3? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it in a little while. That's oversaturated. And also, it makes me want to try warm tape again. Warm tape. Warm tape's really good. Ooh! So, there's some issues with this tail. So, we can get really creative with this stuff. Like, one thing that can be really nice is if we have like something like that that's kind of full spectrum, kind of flat, sort of noise-esque. We can go through here and get a frequency shifter. This one's free, Melda frequency shifter. And then we can basically, so frequency, real quick. Frequency shifters and pitch shifters don't do the same thing. So let's just think about this real quick in terms of 3 notes on the keyboard. So we've got, if you look at my little readout, we've got G, G, and G, right? G is roughly 50 hertz. So for this example, we'll assume it is 50 hertz. 50 hertz, and an octave is a double, right? 50 hertz, 100 hertz, and 200 hertz, right? So let's so with a pitch shifter, let's say you shift something up an octave, it will double everything. That's a pitch shifter. It will double everything. So it will go from G, so it will go from G to G, G, and G like this, right? So that's 100, 200, and 400. But with a frequency shifter, if you shift by 50 hertz, what happens is everything only gets that many hertz added to it. So the 51 does become 100, but the 100 one becomes 150, which is roughly around here, and the 200 one becomes 250, which is probably only around here. So it actually really fucks with the audio, and it makes things really unnatural sounding, which can be great for snare tails. So we put it up to 200 actually. And what you end up with is like this sort of sweet spot where it's moved everything up to 200, because even 0 hertz would go up to 200, right? So we actually end up with... So your choice here, you can end up adding reverb to your snare area, which would sound quite cool. So like this. Play, please. Which is okay. Probably not what I want to go for here. Or... what's more mad is you can like start taking it up to like 1,000, right? And then what did we set it to? It's set it to 1052. So you bring your EQ here. See how you got that? Does it make sense? So basically you're kind of squashing all that information into everything between 1052 and the top. Like you're just squashing it all up there. You're not pitch shifting everything up, which is generally not desirable if you're working with melodic content, but when you're using kind of weird, strange stuff like a snare tail, like we can go mental with shit like this. And just like after that, we could put a flange on it if we want, and we do want that, and that's what we're going to do. Oh, if you're Eliminate, yeah, because he's got those fucking cool, weird sounds all over the place. That's totally a thing too. So rate, I don't know. You can just go mental with your flanger. You end up with like a big, wide thing, right? We're still hearing that sort of like no, which I don't want, to be honest. I want that. And you can actually shape this. Like if you wanna, you can like just start adding nipples to it, like probably less than that. But you can start shaping. I like that. You can start shaping the tone of your tail, right? Other things you can do. What can help sometimes is LFO tool is like weird resonancy sort of tails. I didn't mean to bring up OTT. Sorry. I apologize. Go away, OTT. So I'm just going to listen to this in isolation. This video will be replayable to anybody who's subscribed, and I'm pretty sure that's basically everyone now. Look, I'm not against OTT. It just doesn't work for my purposes on production. Like I'm not saying that if you use OTT you're trash, because obviously there's a lot of incredible producers who use a lot of OTT and it's great. So Reverb Filter can be really cool for reshaping it. Like that. Right. Or you can go higher, get it weird. Or even higher. Just add in. Add in shit. You can change the mix if you want it to be a little bit simpler. If I add all these reverbs, won't I make the snare sound too long? That's a multivariate problem right there. Like what I'm doing right now is I'm creating probably a little more than I'll need. And the reason being is that you can always shorten it once this becomes audio. What I'm doing right now is I'm creating a snare sample for myself. Like this is something that I probably might even use a part of in another snare or for a track. Like maybe I really like the top end on this and I want to use a different low end later on, and I'll just combine those two things. And you know, you can, once it's audio, you can fade that however you like, or you can EQ it however you like. I like it being long right now. But yeah, it does sound a little long to me too. Take that resonance down. You know, if we want to, we can have it like that. Or like re-EQ that slightly. A little bit, you know? A little bit. I think that's here. Yep. Have you noticed how every time I move the EQ, we have kind of like a different snare? That's nice. Just a big kind of cut. Maybe it was just too loud. It's a snare. Carnival TV, thank you so much. And Cast Jeff, thank you for the extra gift sub again. So I'm just going to quickly fold this, have a look at the stereo. So this sounds cool to me. This is a nice enough snare. Like, so there's a couple things we can do here that can be good. One thing I will often try doing is multi-banding it and then resaturating. Multi-band. So we have a snare. It's quite low. That's what I quite like about this snare. It's a little lower than typical. Yeah, because that's how we decided it to be. Oh yeah, Like That's out, my new single. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it after the stream because I prefer to hang out than than that. But yeah, so we've kind of evened everything out. We've made it all purely experience or musical courses. Curiosity, and the one thing that I want everybody to think when they're looking at these things is not that I have the information. It's that these techniques all exist and that knowing what they do is important. And that once you know what something does, it's a move. It's a technique. It's not an answer. Like compressing something does a certain thing, but also saturation can also achieve a similar thing if you want it to. So can EQ. You can EQ something in the right way to make it flatter or feel less dynamic. Like all of those things, and when you should or shouldn't, or when you want to employ them, and what the outcome is the most important thing. Like making that decision yourself, and not just being like, well, I've seen this person do this on this, so I'm going to do this. And I'm not telling anybody off for doing those things, but like, if you know why you want to do something or what you want something to sound like, and you know the techniques, you can get there. So like, it's not about, can you have the same thing using different techniques? Yes, but it's easier to use one technique than another most of the time. Like, that's the thing. Copying someone is never gonna get you the results for your own music. It's gonna give you the results of their music in your music, and I think that that's a problem. Not a problem, but like, yeah, I think that there's it's worth thinking about. Yeah, it's about application always, in my opinion. Right. So we can shape the low end again. So this is after the Saturn. So we've saturated everything together so that they become friends and they've kind of folded around each other a little bit. We can do that. So I'm just bringing the attack up so that here, I'll show you how that works. So this is just a compressor on the low end. So let me turn this up a little. Oh no, not logarithmic, go away. So as I bring this attack up, it lets the sound through for longer. Let me just change the need to be a harder one. Right? I can make it really short. Right? And we can change the floor so it may not take it all the way down to 0 or like minus 30 as the case may actually be. So if we take the attack down, we can sort of bring the energy to the first half of it a little more, which is good. Right? Or we can do that and turn it up loads. So we get like a really short, punchy one. I think I'm going to go halfway in between those two. Something like that. And bring the floor up slightly. So then we're going to play with our mids, probably this kind of area. The reason being, that's kind of like your clappy area, right? So dynamic EQ versus compression, yes, different, because with a dynamic EQ, it kind of rides it. And I guess actually, to be honest, a dynamic EQ is like a simplified compressor. So with a dynamic EQ, it will react to it as it comes up and kind of bring it down, or the opposite, as it comes down, it'll bring it up. With a compressor, you have attack and release times and ratios, and that gives you a lot more control over what you do. So for example, a dynamic EQ is usually very fast attack, very fast release, and then you just kind of choose how much you want it to do it by and kind of change your threshold. With all these other ones, you can have it let through a bit of the information before it attacks, and that's really useful for percussive things because you want attack often. I mean, like, if we wanted to, we could soften all those transients and make a really soft snare, but generally you don't want that in dance music because you want your hits to hit, right? That's why Pro MB and Pro Q3 exist in the same like producer. I mean, not producer, the same DSP catalog. Like Fab Filter made both because both are necessary. And also, like, you know, if you're in Pro Q3 and you're like taking out like a bit of a horrible frequency, but it only happens for like half of the sound, it's a shame. That's when you would use it, because you want to EQ it out, but only when it happens. And using a compressor on that is like unnecessary. It's like it's good workflow. So for example here, oh shit, I just did all that to the wrong fucking one. How's this looking? Okay, that's good. That's all nice. So I'm gonna turn this down because it doesn't need to be as loud as that. So we can start listening to this. Do I prefer multiband compression as a multiband transient shaper? Not always, but transient shaping is, if I'm shaping transients, I'm using a compressor, usually. But like here, see, so what we have here, let me freeze this. This is, freeze correctly, okay. So, what we have here is a really naturally occurring thing. So what's happening is there's a little bit of this punch here, which is kind of like the fundamental sweep down. And then there's room here from the saturation. There's room for our transient. You'll see how it's like not transient, our fundamental. You'll see that this has got this little dip in it. That's where the fundamental's going into the saturator. And just because we're listening to this area, it's kind of like scooped it out. So, yeah, we want to maybe accentuate this slightly, and we probably want to level this out, because you see how this is kind of loud and then it kind of goes down. I want to try and get this to be a bit more faded, and that's totally doable in this situation. So let me unmute this. Scan DJ, thank you for the Prime subscription, man. Right, so let's unfreeze this. So attack, release. Let's go in on it really hard for a moment. Actually, that might do it. If we just have that at the right. Nah. Faster attack. Bring that up. Let's see how this looks. This sounds convincing. Maybe we want to push it a little further. Nah. So like, you know, we're choosing how squashed it sounds, because if we have a really slow attack, really dynamic. No attack, not so dynamic. So we still want some of that at the beginning. This right here, this is determining the difference between the transient hit and the tail sound. Kind of into that. Let's see how it sounds with everything. Ooh, kind of into it. Wait, what's this? What plugins do you absolutely recommend? I think the most important plugin in anybody's arsenal is actually Fab Filter Pro MB. You can sidechain with it. You can reshape sounds. You can save sounds that have no energy. You can kind of EQ with it if you want to, but I don't. Yeah, I think Fab Filter Pro Multiband is my favorite plugin out of all of them. And it's also, you can have dynamic phase mode, which means that it basically keeps everything in line in a lovely way. Yeah, I love Saturn as well. I love Ozone. I love Serum. I love Phase Plant. I think the Sound Toys bundle is really useful in a kind of like does stuff that nothing else does as well kind of way, but it is expensive. Soothe, there is no substitute for Soothe. No substitute. Yeah, Saturn's amazing. And I'm going to be using a lot more Saturn now that Saturn 2 is out. We have a snare. Right, so tempted to treat these two areas differently. The reason being is that it could be really nice if you can get away with having this happen with your top. So if you can have a slow attack like that takes it down by maybe like 6-ish dB, like this. I think I'm going to EQ into this so there's a little more information for it. 1 second. Wait, are there things not being sent to this? No, we're good. We're good. Oh, is the Sound Toys bundles on sale right now? Well, if you're looking for some shit, do it. Fucking get that shit. It's great. I use quite a lot of those plugins. I know some people who fucking love Little Radiator from that. I haven't used it much, but it's something I plan on using more of. So I'm just going to quickly EQ this so it's a bit more flat up top, because that's a nice thing to do. Yeah, the crossovers on Saturn 2 are a game changer for me and my shit. So what I'm aiming to do here is create this kind of like extra little... Oh, wait, I'm opening the wrong plugin. Yeah, Logic's having a fucking shit day today, but at least we're doing kind of more simplistic stuff. Ozone Trash is also multi-band. I just don't... I just find that I get better results with Saturn. I know, like, it's funny because I know people who've gone from Saturn to Trash and been like, Trash is so much better than Saturn. And I also know people who have gone from Trash to Saturn. Like, I used to use Trash a lot. I think it's more just whatever's new to you is more inspiring a lot of the time. So I'm aiming to get like a nice tall transient here. Like that. So bring that back up. So it's kind of nasty, but we're going to be resaturating this. So the idea is that this is going to like be fed into a saturation. I don't want to know what my whole plugin collection's worth. Download Dolphin. That's scary. So I think with this, I just kind of want to level out this bit. It's a little bit. Yeah. So slow attack. Release. Oh, let's undo that. There we go. Okay. So we just kind of want to squash this a little bit. This bit we probably don't want to touch too much. Actually, that sounds really convincing already. I think I'll just leave it like that with a slightly slower attack and a slightly longer release. There we go. So now we got... Woo! Oh, the multi-band settings are hidden at the moment. Sorry, guys. You see how... So that transient's quite offensive to listen to right now. That's absolutely fine because we're going to resaturate it. I might just go with like a gentle saturation. The saturation, the reason we're doing that instead of compressing, or at least in my eyes, is you want these elements that we've created and kind of collected together. You want these elements to be happy with each other. Like by that's a shit way of saying it. What I mean is when you're saturating things, you're forcing them into this space in a way that's kind of destructive, and we want that because oh wait, I opened Saturn 1. Haha. But we want that because basically it folds them into each other, and we want folding in this sort of situation because we want it to be a singular sound. Yeah, the transient's a little over the top. We're going to squash it. It's all good. As soon as we... Isn't that? How convincing. Let's see. I don't want to oversaturate it. We're just squashing the beginning. I think warm tape's not going to be my call here. I think it's going to be gentle saturation. Yeah. So that part of it is a little bit too resonant for my liking. So wait, let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, because we did a big curve. I'm going to do this on another EQ because I don't really, yeah. You didn't hear a difference? That's fine. I did. What's it like with this just lower? Ah, I don't think it's coming from this so much. Let's mute that. One moment. Yeah, okay. This is a bit aggressive too. All right. Maybe a little more of this. There we go. Whoa. Yeah, I've tried Saturn, but the reason we're saturating right now is we're trying to get everything to be one. And because basically we've got like we've got the fundamental down here, we've got this HS14 thing, and the clap kind of in the mids and a little bit in the high, and then the top end coming from actually the fundamental and the transient on that. I'm trying to get those things to live together and become that singular snare sound. So full spectrums saturation is exactly what I need right now. I wonder if we want to fucking change this frequency shifting. It's kind of annoying me. Ugh. Bring it up loads? No, let's take it back down. Oh, slightly higher than it was before. We've got a tiny bit of resonance. I'm going to move that. How'd you find a fundamental for a snare? You make it. We made it in Serum. It's here. Between, wait, what? Oh no, that's not directed at me. Okay, gotcha. Let's just move this notch. God, Logic's having a terrible day. There we go. Get rid of that. Maybe some of this. Do like that. I don't know if we actually did the triangle wave thing yet. I don't know if we actually did that. Did we bother with that, or did we just use a sine wave? I can't remember. No, we didn't even bother with the triangle wave thing. So this one's just a sine wave. What we can actually do though is this is significantly louder, so we're just gonna have to put a gain on the Serum. But let's just turn this up until it's right, because we can actually fuck with the fundamental now. That's too much. There we go. So we can actually, we've gone back to that. So our fundamental's lasting roughly about 1/8. So we'll do that. Envelope mode. So, oh, yeah. Wavetable position. So we can go from, yeah, you get those kind of overtones at the beginning versus, it's like slightly rounder like this, and it's slightly more aggressive like this. Right? It's a bit clappier because you're actually getting more mids because of the fact that it's a triangle wave. I wonder how much that clap's kind of fucking with the high end. You do need it, but the fact that it's like this is like but just really fast. If we take off the high end, I don't think that the snare will suffer, but I actually think it'll improve it because we don't want that graininess. Yeah. Nice. Definitely sounds like a synthesized snare as opposed to a non-synthesized snare. I mean, like, and now that we're actually coming live from the synthesized fundamental, we can do this. How fun. Or you can just go fucking low. Yeah, you have that freedom of choice. Nope. Wasn't holding alt. Do you guys see how this is all coming together, right? Is that kick and snare with the same fundamental challenge? I've often thought about that actually, because if you did the right modulations, you could, if you were really careful about it, like you want your kick to hit at 100. This is what's really interesting. If you're in G, for example, you want your kick to hit, no, sorry, your sub's going to be on 50 hertz again, which is a nice, healthy thing. Generally, most kicks will hit you in the chest and be punchy at around 100 hertz, and your snare wants to be 200. Those are all Gs. So, like, you could, in theory, I don't know if this is going to work, but it might. So I'm going to try it. So... Hang on. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Is that everything? That's everything. So all I've done is have have one an octave below. So we got cool. That's fun. Snare doesn't need to be an F or D and B. That's kind of cool. I mean, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Oh, the ref. Everything needs to be an F because F is exactly one bar. I hope the Mondarian's in here. I'd feel bad if he wasn't in here and we were saying that. Sorry, Castev. I'm like scanning chat, like looking down real quick and not really thinking, because this is a fun little snare. So that's roughly a snare, isn't it? I mean, if we want to, we can get some weird shit. Oh my God, perfect. That's just what I was looking for. I didn't even know I had that sample. I'm gonna make that mono. So I think I might pitch this up instead of actually like, instead of frequency shifting it up. We shall see. So we can start adding interesting, strange shit if we want to, like this. Make sure it's going to our bus. And make sure it is nice and low cut. Right. Don't know about this one, actually. So it's longer than everything else, which is obviously a problem. Cool. Let's actually get the frequency shifter out though, eh? How do I decide on what slope when low cutting? I kind of don't. I mean, unless it depends. It depends on what kind of low cut it is. Like if it's a low cut where you just don't want any sub and you still want the sound to kind of retain some of its life. Like this is a 24 low cut. Like, so actually if we listen to it, there's probably still a little bit of the lows in there. A little. Actually, no, have we frequency shifted it already? No. There's not many lows in it. I don't know. I don't really think about slopes that much. Maybe that's more of an innate decision usually. How do I tackle self-doubt? By listening to it. And I think self-doubt's powerful. I think if you're doubting something in the track, get fucking rid of it. Be convinced. Be convinced, because when you're convinced, that's all that matters. Let's frequency shift this motherfucker. Oh! Ooh! Ah! All valid decisions. I like that. Almost makes me want to kind of re-EQ this thing again. The beat of my drum goes pizza. I love it. I can't have pizza again tonight though, Quill. I will, you know what? Though next time I do get pizza on stream, it's on you now. then we compare. I think I still prefer this, but I'm still going to do this a little bit. So, really, however much you want to put in, you can. Like, it's looking happy. I feel like that this thing could be a little longer and possibly a little higher. One thing, okay, so the self-doubt question, I actually, that wasn't me trying to be a dick or anything. I actually mean what I said there. Like, if you have issues with your track, that's a good thing, because those are the things you actually need to fix. It is actually as simple as that too. Like, if you just... This is. I was actually talking about this with someone the other day. Being a music producer and doing something, especially when it's tech-based, like when it's this kind of stuff, there's a level of objectivity in technique. Like, there's a level of things being correct or incorrect. And as a music producer, you kind of have to train yourself to listen out for everything you don't like. It's part of why, when it comes to demos, I'm a little afraid, because because if something's right about the track, it's just kind of there. It's good, and I don't think about that. That's good. That's fine. So like, whenever I'm hearing my own stuff, it's like, okay, these are all the things that I need to fix. Not these are all the things that are good about it. Because if you spend too much time thinking about what's good about your track, then you become too self-congratulatory. And then your music sucks because it's just you thinking you're the shit. And you have to think you're the shit at the same time as this, though. That's the hard part. It's a bit of a weird one. I'm going to try something weird on this. Oh, that's why it's inconsistent. You have to think you're the shit to kind of dare to put something down, and to dare to release something. You have to be like, I'm worth this, right? I think distorting that slightly is a good call. And like, it's not to say you need a shitload of self-esteem. I'm going to use a different distortion so I can dry wet it. It's not to say, you need infallible self-esteem, because you don't. You just need to be able to believe in the thing you've made, I think. And if you don't, the track's not done. That's kind of my thoughts on that. Yeah, those key moments where you glimpse the power or the track coming together, or the ideas of what could be. That shit's great. That's exactly why I do it. Because it's like, oh my God, the possibilities, and these are the things I really want to do to the track, and it's exciting, and you're excited to hear where they go. Because as soon as you're there, then maybe it's like, oh fuck, now I can do this, or now I can do this, and then those decisions, that it's fun. It's a puzzle that you're solving and making. I love this shit. This is why I'm here. I don't know if I've done a good thing there. I don't think that's nice. Hello? It's nice-ish, I guess. This sample is actually giving me kind of a bit of trouble in general. I'm sure you guys have noticed. Hey, Mondarian, you're not staying around? Have a good one, man. Sorry you're leaving, man. Have a good day. Just like it's slightly dark. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, it is definitely dark. Look at that. You know what the fuck it is? It's that fucking, it's this. It's me being a moron. If you want to, you can also start shaping how wide areas are. Like, you know, make that all mid. We make it all stereo. Oh, wait, fuck. That's not a good idea. I think we want this to be a bit more mid-heavy. This'll do. This'll do. This is our first snare of the day. It took us a while. Yeah, definitely metallic. It's this thing. If I mute that. No. So let's call this one... Let's call this one Mondarian, because Mondarian's leaving. Monda snare. Big snares. Is this the one without or with ping? I think this is without, mate. Actually. Yeah, without ping. Okay. So Monda snare, sans ping. Did he already leave? I think he doesn't get to see that we're naming the snare after him. That's sad. Monda snare. No. Ping. Not ping. And then we will reintroduce the ping. What's it like without this with the ping? Yeah. That's a decision, isn't it? I'm going to keep it in. I'm going to keep it in because that's just how it goes. So, on the snare ping. Okay. So, that's one snare done. Let's make a kick. So we've made that. Let's go over here so that our brains function differently. Or at least mine does. Kicks, I think, are easier. I think kicks are a lot quicker and easier to get something nice. So let's get... Hello? Okay. No. Big snares. Monda snare ping. And what's cool now is that now that we have this, here's the snare. Ooh. Look at that. That's clean. We like that. Sorry, I thought I saw something move over there. Let's cut off this beginning. Yeah, I'm going to cut that little, whatever that is, off. Oh my God, that's loud. Sorry. Yeah, I'll probably end up making something out of this after, or at least I'll add like a couple elements and put them in the context of a track. So like we can also like fuck around with pitching this now that it's like all one, right? So, or like, you know, take it up or down. If you're going to do that, you probably want to re-multiband just so you're reshaping the you know, the way things are. I think it's a little long, but it's good to have it be longer than you want it to because it's easier to fade out than it is to create extra. Nice. We made that. Nice. Cool. So kick. Kick you can probably do with just 2 layers, in all honesty. You can do kicks very quickly. I recently have been super into short kicks, personally. Sorry, my keys are in my pocket and they were making me feel like something was wrong. Short kicks are sick. So, what I'm going to do for this one is we're going to have sine wave, triangle. Oh, yeah, I keep clicking the wrong one. Triangle, in phase. Ah, crap, I did it on the wrong one. So, sine wave. I have these already made, but I'm just showing you how you would go about making this. This is going to need to be... now go blah. Yep. Thank you, Akari Project. I really appreciate it. So, what was I doing? Yeah, I got a polarity invert. Oh, wait, no. Do that, do that, do that. Okay, and then we want a square. So what this is like kind of different degrees of distortion that we can like shape and distort the sound as we see fit. I think crossfade will work best here. Let's check. Oh yeah, that looks good. That's nice and neat. Cool. So wouldn't have yeah, it would. You're right, Aaron. Aaron. Yeah, you're right. It would. I hadn't even considered that. You're right. So, I'm going to turn everything down, turn that snare back up. I have a feeling that the snare is about the right level now for everybody. Let's make sure it's not distorting in the master. Lovely. Cool. So, kick. Here we go. So we want on all this. I think I'm going to make this like about a 16th long. I like that at the moment. So let's go like down here. Finished. I've made it an 1/8 because I think I'll want it slightly longer than a 16th. So I'll probably want it something like this. And then this is going to be the level, which probably is going to be something around like this kind of vibe. So that we need to make sure that we're starting off axis or on axis, sorry. It's, is it Aaron or Aaron? Because I had a friend, one of my best friends in like when I was growing up was called Aaron, and his name was spelled Aaron. Let's get a loop going. So for now, we're gonna deactivate this, and we're just gonna find a nice like pitchful. So I usually have it like around here for the first one, and then we have another one, which is going to be on LFO4, which is going to be the master pitch, and that's going to be our transient, but we're not going to fuck with that one yet. So actually, yes, we are. It's good to work with both. Envelope, and this one isn't going to be tempo sunk because we're going to be able to like change the length of it. So we'll do this. Oh. Right? So it's this is an 1/8 long, so actually we want to do this. So you might be able to tell already. Actually, I'm going to set this to a 16th. You might be able to tell already, but we actually have quite a lot of... We have a lot of choice here in this one, which is the main pitch fall. This is basically where you make your kick. All these other things I've set up are kind of like details. This is the kick. So if we do this, like that kind of thing ends up like that. We do that. It's nice and bassy, but maybe less hype. We could do this. What mouse do I have? Curious. So the mouse I use for gaming and stuff is, what is this? Fuck. It's a Razer Naga Hex V2, but I don't use that when I'm producing. I deliberately use my my trackpad because then I'm more used to producing on my trackpad, and then it's like, and then I'm used to doing it on planes or like in a hotel room or something. So this is nice and tasty. I actually think I want the kick to be shorter. So we can just do this. So we can now fuck around with this. Like as we move this node up, you'll notice that the transient kind of changes. As that's just kind of more beef to it. I have a kick. We have a kick. It's all lovely. Good times for everyone. I think actually, like, we probably just could get away with, like... Wait, is this even... Oh, this is... I knew it sounded weird. That was set to 1/4, not fucking 1/8. That's what we were looking for. Yeah, I knew that sounded weird. Sorry. Whoa. Okay, cool. See how much this, like, changes everything. Do I do any post-processing on my kick? Generally, no. I mean, like, what I will say is this, being such a synthetic sound, what I may find myself doing is just like finding some random acoustic-y sounding kick and just throwing that over the top. That tends to do the trick. Like, I don't know what I have in here, so no. Oh, this kind of territory. That was kind of cool. Just putting something like that over the top gives it a bit of context in the real world, and that's all you really need. So I'd low cut this definitely, and maybe even fade it in. So we'll just do this first. Snare and kick. And you can even, like, you know, depending on what you want, you can like really shorten that. Maybe pitch that. I don't like that fucking punch at the beginning, though. That's nasty. It's nice in the kick itself, but like, yeah. So maybe we'll just use that as a little noise hit. And actually for like the transient, we'll get something else. So this is my like non-processed, like generally my bad kick folder, but like I find it a little bit more inspiring to get the elements of a kick and snare from this. I'm going to delete that because that's where the high end is, and I want it right at the beginning. Hey, Rob to the max. How's it going, man? You good? Do I also synthesize the hats and shakers? Generally, no, but I was going to do that today. There we go. That's nice. Bit of high end at the beginning. I actually don't know about that fundamental right now. I think the general... So currently we haven't fucked around with like where it ends. So we could like bring it up here. Or all the way down here. And like you might want to change things depending on how you do that. The interesting thing about really short kicks is you don't need to worry so much about them getting to their lowest point and oscillating there for long because you're already sidechaining back out. Hey, thank you for sharing it, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. So this definitely wants a fade in. And actually, I think it needs to be shorter and quieter. Actually, it's maybe better without it. Just with this over the top. Hey Stan, is the mix stream going to be the mix? No, it's not. That's not the same thing. Too unanimous question, if anyone's curious about me just kind of looking and then answering a question, no context. I made a kick the other day that I really liked. I just want to compare it to this. That's way nicer. Jeez. We can do better. Chase Allegro, that's such a hard question to answer. I genuinely, very rarely in my life have watched like videos on this stuff. I think that the best thing you can do is be curious and try and find those things out for yourself. One thing that always helped me and has been a big part of me working things out is looking at waveforms. So like, for example, here's a waveform I'm incredibly proud of. Wait, actually, opening record box right now is a bad idea. I'll just bring it out of my thing. So here's something hey, Eric, how you doing? Fuck, I just opened record box. 1 second, everybody. Hey, that caffeine crash is happening. The one I promised. Right, force quit. Nice. Okay, so this looking at waveforms is often a really good way of working out like how things go. Oh wait, this is the wrong thing. This is the wrong thing. I brought in the wrong audio file. Okay, so Buster flip clip. Curiosity in this stuff is the best teacher. So generally speaking, my favorite thing my best way of learning was always like looking at what was going on in waveforms of tracks that I liked the sound of. So like kick into sub and like the snares short, all these things. This track sounds like this. That's how I like work. That's how I always worked stuff out. Yes, Achilles did do that. So yeah, like looking at waveforms is a really great way to learn. Taking a track that you're interested in and bringing it into your project file, into your DAW, and like listening to the highs, the mids, and the lows, and like listening to the sides. All those things can really teach you about what the people that you like and are influenced by what they're doing. You can find out what they're doing by just analyzing. That's always how I learned. Like I used to listen to like noisier tracks, or like trying to remake someone else's sound will often will force you to make other choices than the ones you might make on your own. And actually what that'll do is that'll unlock a piece of information like, oh, I did this and it sounded like this. Doing things weird. Like the other day, I found a really cool trick for making something sound good in stereo. Here, so like literally I took a saw wave, put this on the pan, and then like made it really fast. I don't know if you can hear that very well, but it's actually like in the sides. It's got some nice rotation to it. Yeah, it's all stuff. Bit zappy. Kick's a little bit zappy for me. How's that sound in mono? Like a saw wave. Literally. It's clipping as well a bit. No, that was just the way that it that was the modulation creating those kind of growly kind of tone. This kick's really annoying me now. I just want it to sound better. How's that? A few up. That's kind of cool, but I heard that. Hey, Danny, thank you so much. Oh, I think there's a way, Aetherx I think there's a way to not have that happen. Rob to the max, thank you for the sub too. Have I ever dispersed my kicks while making them? That's something that I do too. My favorite kick at the moment is one where I took, this is really simple too. So I took this one, which is obviously a very soft kind of not super hypey kick, and just dispersed it. I'm not going to just like do it because I can't remember exactly how I did, but got that out of it. I like it a lot. So yeah. Still zappy, still too zappy for me. I'm really like I've been listening to this for too long. When I come back, because I need to go to the bathroom, we'll make some hats, and then we'll have some drum hits. Cool. I'll be right back. It's chair time. Nice chair. Hey, Buster. Oh, you missed it, Buster. We made these. Yeah, you should watch the VOD. But the snare is fun. My washroom in South Africa? No. Thank you, Cast Chaff. Let's just put that over the top. Fuck it. When do I decide to make my own samples versus using pre-made ones, I guess? Generally, I don't do this. That we've done today, generally I don't do it. It's too time consuming, and I prefer to spend time writing than just making a kick or snare that may end up just being pulled in for another one. I mean, like, it's good to have more samples always, but I have a sample selection that I already like a lot, so yeah, I don't generally do this. I did this because in listening to the demos with Buster the other day, everyone was asking about, like, what is it about the drums that we could fix? So first things first, actually, I'm gonna make a ghost snare version of this same snare, which is always a useful thing to do. So we want to make a version of this same snare that sounds like it's been hit less hard. So that's pretty easy to do. So I've pitch shifted it down slightly, because if you're hitting something less hard, then you're going to get less of its kind of like its pitch fall, which is what we were simulating earlier. I'm going to take a little bit off the beginning, fade that in by the tiniest amount, do that, and then probably EQ it slightly so it's a little bit less clappy. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that loop's not good. Which monitors do I use? Do you mean like the screen or the speakers? I generally like. You can learn a lot of. So my speakers are SCM25As by ATC. And as for studying music, like there's something to be said for it, and that, you know, being able to ask questions from lecturers and things is always great. But generally, I find that you could learn all of those things on your own if you really have the curiosity. Of course, you have to be self-motivating to the point where you're spending your days learning these things. And if you're not that kind of person, that's absolutely fine. And I think that maybe it is better to go study it. But I do think that yeah, it's a it's up to you. It depends. It depends how you think you'll learn best. Yeah, collaboration opportunities with other students. Just being in an area or a forum where you're with people who want to learn the same things as you. But you can do that on the internet. You can. And the speakers are this expensive because they're fucking amazing. Amazing. It's the most expensive things I own, I think. And yeah, they're just absolutely incredible. Buster will tell you well, Buster, what are my monitors like? So this is a little heavy. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna frequency shift it down. That's too much. Actually, maybe if I pitch it up and then frequency shift it down. I never do that, but I think it might be cool. Meh. I think it depends what DAW you're on. Like Logic doesn't have a good multiband compressor. So if you don't have one of those if you have Logic and you kind of do need a good multiband compressor. I think maybe a little more. That sounds correct-ish. Volume's an issue too. And maybe less fade out. There we go. That sounds like a ghost snare to me now. So, okay. It's got to be monitors. Yeah. I think having monitors is important in general. Like, you don't have to get fucking crazy expensive ones. And actually, I would recommend against getting really expensive ones until you know what you're doing a lot. And that's obviously not a finite point in time, like knowing what you're doing, because I think I still kind of don't have much of an idea what I'm doing on a lot of things. I think acoustics of the room matter, but not hugely. I think having good replication of the sound is really important. Like, you can get yourself like some $250 monitors, and I think that any less than that, you are kind of just getting speakers. Is important because you're then hearing everything in a little bit of a better way. Headphones keep your parents happy for sure. Like there are okay, so I don't know a lot about headphones. I have never enjoyed headphones that much, but I've never had a good pair of headphones, like a good, expensive, like, you know, high quality pair of headphones. So I'm a little biased on that. Low end, like speakers that don't have low end are fucking great in my opinion. I used a pair of Adam A5Xs for the longest time and I fucking love them. They're great. I don't have room for them anymore. Otherwise I'd have them just like on top of my other speakers. But Adam A5Xs have no low end. They like cut out at like an A. And when most dance music wants to be an F. What it makes you do is it makes you focus on the mid, which is actually where your track is. And it's one of the things that forced me to learn how to use oscilloscopes. So I actually think monitors with no low end can actually be a really good tool. So let's make some fourth hats, like. Probably could do an oscilloscope stream, to be honest. I'm yeah. It's micro chill, macro stressful being a producer, because it's great. It's great being able to sit here and just be like, hey, fuck yeah. Oh, that sounds cool. Let's do that. But like on a macro level, like making sure you're making good decisions that actually make sense musically, or like that are listenable, and that you're constantly keeping at least a certain level of quality, all of those things, they are stressful. What I'll do is I'll make a track with only the oscilloscope that only you guys can hear. Like I'll turn my speakers down, and you guys never get to hear the whole thing as it's being made. Chase Allegro, that's a cool idea, but I don't really do remix competitions anymore. Do I like to turn the monitors way up when I'm DJing, but wear earplugs. So this is going to become a hi-hat. There's a couple ways we can do this. I'm going to start by just using noise. Noise! I mean, like we can use cymbal loop. Like, this is always a thing. Wait, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. You know, easy way to do it is just fucking get cymbal loop, envelope. We have a hi-hat that we can fuck with, but I'm not going to do that. We're going to get white noise. JP8 is my favorite on here. Oh, wait. Am I being stupid? Is it J60? Yeah, I think it is. Oh, yeah, it's JP8 on a different plugin. My bad. Bright white, actually. That's what we're going to use. Which earplugs do I recommend? I recommend ACS earplugs, because you can't cheap out on earplugs, in my opinion. There are good cheap ones, but if you're really serious about going to shows all the time and DJing and being in loud environments, you need to spend good money on earplugs, because you're going to lose your hearing. Custom earplugs are important, in my opinion. Reverb filter again, just to get it kind of metallic sounding. Like I don't usually do this, but like, yeah. You can also do this. What is Reverb Filter? It's basically just a really like strange array of resonances that you can turn into reverb. So let's make this really short, like this. Wait, so dry. And then all wet. It's like, it's basically reverb, but you can pitch it. I don't hate that. How much dB reduction would I say is good? I can't remember which mine are. They're just behind me. I'll check. Oh wait, no, it doesn't say it on them. But there's one on there that they say that they recommend. Yeah. The resonant kind of does work as like a release time. If we want to make this really interesting, what we can do is we can bring this back in. And then do this. I know this sounds mad right now. Then we set this to And then we set this to do this too. Do I make all the drums I use in Serum? Generally, no. But I figured I'd show people some cool tricks today. I usually sample a lot, to be honest. Why is this not the same every time? Very odd, because the phase is resetting. Oh, it's this. Cool. Start syncing it. See what I'm doing here? I'm just kind of just adding shit. You know? Bring this down, add the resonant. Resonances and shit. We can... You know, if we want to get really crazy. Oh, Takano writes, don't worry about it at all, man. It was just super sick that you made it, man. Thank you, though. So, we have a hi-hat. It's all right. It works. You know, do that. Shape it. So normally what I would do is I'd bounce that down to audio because it just makes sense to my brain for hi-hats to be audio and not synth. But you get the idea. You could change so many things like that. You can change so many things. Yeah, I've Arsenic Dub. I've played around with the new update a fair bit. The thing I'm really excited about is the way that the new effects plugins, the Serum Effects saves means that I can do some really cool shit and actually not have to fuck with it every time I reopen it, which is nice. We have a hi-hat. We can like distort and gain reduce if we want to, like. Yeah, so like, you know, mega compress. We want to. I think what I would rather do with this though is distort it slightly. And then let me split this. Is it that? Is that how you do that? No. How do you do this again? Is it... Oh, wait, I have the wrong fucking tool. Scissors. Is it... Yeah, it's that. Cool. Do that. We're going to turn these into eighths instead. What's cool about this is because it's come from a synth and we're using like non-re-triggering things, each of these is slightly different from each other. So they're not exactly the same, which is nice. It's not, you know, mandatory, but it's nice. You know, we can fucking frequency shift that too if we want to. FM8 is better for drum and bass. I don't think I could agree with that. Pitch it up. you know, plenty to fuck with. If we wanted to, we could start like, what am I looking for? We could disperse it. Might be because the fan's on in here, but I'm not seeing that. I'm not hearing that doing anything. Oh, there we go. You get the idea. I mean, like, to be honest, I don't love this hi-hat. It's all right. I generally don't synthesize my hi-hats. I have a nice hi-hat that I record, but like, I know that that's not a common thing. So I'd rather, you know. Yeah, it's totally lasery. I was kind of going for that with the disperser, but it's, yeah, you're right, it is unnecessary. Also could like do a compression, like a full spectrum compression per C2 and get like a bit more of a transient on it. How many subs do we have? We have I'm scared to say it, but we have 952. Bounce that in place. So let's get a nice transient on it now. Average viewers for me is about 250. The last few streams have been a little dead. Don't know why. I mean, like the Terraria one makes sense because I know people aren't that interested in watching me play games. Or like most people aren't. Yeah. It'll be bigger if we did like a, hey, thank you for the Twitch Prime subscription, Grenheld. Actually, probably the average is probably lower now, but like on the good days, 250. Yeah, this is definitely much more technical. Much more of a technical stream. Then what we can do, fade that one in because it's under a kick, fade this one in and this one because they're under snares. And then we'll duplicate it and then we'll have ones on the offbeats that are not distorted. And I think we'll start having an actual drum beat. It's something. It's distorting. These are all a bit long, I think. I wouldn't say this is a very useful stream for anybody. This is all just technical stupid shit. Like, giving people the tools for sure, but like, this isn't the shit that makes me excited. I'm not going to shave my hair off. Thoughts on hardstyle? Not for me. It's not my shit. Not what I am here for. No, I mean, like, it's still fun, but people were asking about, like, drums. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I know this sort of stuff is really helpful for people. Like, I'm not complaining. you know, if we wanted to turn this into like an all right drum beat, we could throw all of these things to a side, hello, mixer. There we go. We could throw all these to like a side reverb bus. Actually, no, we'll put them all into the same one. And then we'll put like some reverb with a bit of dry wet. Why wouldn't it send all of them to bus 10? Are you really going to do this to me, Logic? Come on. There we go. Bus 10, here we go. Like if we just put like a tiny bit of, I don't know which one I want to go for here. Maybe we'll use Pro R. So I want to keep it spacious. We don't want much decay. We don't want any low end in it, really. Maybe a bit around here. Right. Bring it to like here. And then just do like, let's do that. Like a Pro C2. Like I usually don't do drum comp buses, but like if we were to turn this into a loop that we would then want to slice up maybe at a later date, this would be the best format for it to be in. Tiny Pro C. What happens when I drag it off my laptop up here? That reverb is too lively. 1 second. This has, wait, is that this sample? Yeah. This sample has a bit too much mid in it. So yeah, the Hokey, the reason the kick's grown on you is it now has context. Like if we, let me get rid of this. If we like sidechained this around, if we, you know what, let's just export all these hits. Or we could just sidechain around it. Yeah, fuck it. Where is audio 1? 1 second. Just need to find that. Because it's one of those things that really annoys me if sidechain isn't audio 1. Here it is. Has that got anything on it? Yes, it has. Duplicate. And then we'll move that. Where are you? Go on. So yeah, if I were to give this context by just like putting a bass sound down, all of this would start making a lot more sense, I think. So that's what we'll do. Yeah, I find Pro R to be a bit more airy, and I find Valhalla to be a bit more boomy and dusty. So it's like that's how I see it, and I'm sure they can both do the other sound like well. It's just kind of the results I usually find myself getting with them. Well, I think of the Logic reverbs, I don't use them much. My brother does, and he actually gets quite good results with them, but I don't. Yeah, I don't know how to use them very well. Like, I think I'm not. Reverb is one of those things that I don't use a lot of, and I don't love. I'm not very good at it. I think it's something I could use better. Reverb on the kick totally can be a thing. Totally can be a thing. It's just make sure you EQ it. Especially if you're doing like a drum mix. Yeah, I mean, like reverb on a kick can really work. Like, you know, I am gonna send this to a side bus. Is that all of them? Yeah, let's send these back to. Oh God. Right. So if we send all of these to 9 on the side. do that, we'll move this reverb over here. We can EQ this reverb, so let's just... I've put reverb on the sub before. You guys can meme all you like, but it's worked before. Let's make this full spectrum. So what we can do here is we can EQ it properly. One thing that always works with reverb, on drums especially, is if you get the mids, the middle of the mids, and you do this, makes it huge. Generally, that's usually enough. There we go. This will do. We'll EQ it properly once we hear everything. It helped because I needed to fill out the lows on a track that had very dynamic bass. So what it was reverb that was sidechained to the actual sub itself. This, horrible. So that's a really subtle touch of reverb, right? If I take it away, listen. This is why we reverb. And without. Heavid, I did. You're right, I did read that. All right, yeah, that's making noise. Convolution reverb's useful, I think, in a different sense to reverb. Convolution reverb is more of a tail generator than a room generator, in my opinion. I know that's kind of a small distinction, but for me, that distinction stays true a lot of the time. Yeah, we can change how much the kick hits that reverb if we want to. And we can even, like, if we want to, we can get rid of, like, different layers going to the reverb. Tips of getting rid of noise with mic. Turn your mic gain up. Don't compress so much. Make sure it's not running over any power lines, because that always adds like some noise. I think that's about it. All right, so like if we just put a fucking bass underneath this, I'm not going to go crazy with the sidechain, I guess, because that's not the point today. I'm just going to get a bass patch that I know is pretty full and sounds nice, because we're not really on that shit today. Souffle dots. I'm just going to quickly change how this patch is running, because I don't want it to be dots anymore. I want it to be eighths, because we're just trying to celebrate the drums a bit more today. All right, you think? Do I use recorded bass from time to time? Yeah, the bass line in the verses in Like That is actually just a recorded bass. Or they're like, yeah, there we go. There were like 4 of the same note on top of each other. Cool. I'll just sidechain that. And in theory, we'll have something that kind of works. Or you'd be like, hello? Siren Head? I don't know what that is. Kind of like that. It's got that web kind of vibe. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I spent way too long on that. There was no point. It already sounded fine. It sounds like my song like that. I mean, it's the same chords faster, but a very different synth and in the same key. But this is just an example anyway. I mean, like, what? If we want, we can go here. Or like... Yeah, you know, we can do whatever. Or we can go mental. It's like... There are so many points over here that aren't being used. that good? We done it? No, that's another one. I mean, that's not quite perfect, but we could definitely find something with it. Probably the best way to do something like that, though, in my opinion, is to do like one and then another, like that's a little softer. Chances are, though, we'd want different like hi-hat patterns for that. Like the eighths kind of throw it off. You'd have to kind of change everything. Or we could go with ones, 1/4s. Like, I don't know. This is not like, I'm not trying to make a track right now, really. That's kind of fun, though. This is dumb. This is weird. ADJ, thank you very much for the sub. Fucking, I don't know. We have kicks and snares. Let's turn them into audio files and make something for an hour. Yeah. How do we feel about that? Does everyone feel like they've learned kind of like a little bit about how to make decisions on how your drums sound? Because that's the most important thing, is being able to make decisions. Not just that you can like copy what I did. Like, yeah, you can, but that's not as valuable to you. I was moving my fan. I mean, if you guys want the chair, I mean. I hope that was good for you. Cool. So I'm going to export these. We already turned this into a sample. Let's get rid of that reverb. I don't know if I'm going to save this one. I like it, but not enough. I do like that hat, though. I will be saving that. I do not want you to donate. You fucking know. I don't want anybody to donate unless they feel like it. Like, I would never, ever, like, force anybody to donate. That fucking, no. You know this. Yeah, they're very comfy chairs, these. PCM. All right, let me just get this in like somewhere, probably in beats. All hits. Beats. Just, hi, lol. Wait, what? Who said Kappa? What's happening? I wouldn't say there's any rule on that dust clear DMB. I feel like it. Well, thank you very much, I am Laminar. I do appreciate it. No, I wouldn't say that there's a general rule for DMB. I think if you kind of match them, usually that tends to work best. But I couldn't say that for absolute certainty. I'm going to export this kick, though, because I love that. This is one I made last night. There's a pigeon stood on my window. Wait. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with drum and bass, yeah, you have a lot of flexibility. When it comes to making these things in house, guys, same thing. Just like fuck around with it until it sounds correct to you, and then roll with that. Believe in your ears. And if something's wrong with it, try and do your best to work out why. And because if you can work out why something's wrong or what's wrong with it, then you work out why. Then you're laughing because you're always able to like, you know, make informed decisions. How was this snare I made last night too? Let's see if that's worth saving. I like it. I prefer this one. Very simple, but working out working out what's wrong with something is the hard part, to be honest. Like, why does this sound weird? And it's, you know, it's not like every time it's not like every time I hear something wrong with something, I'm like, I know exactly what the problem is. You know, usually you have to do a bit of snooping, find out exactly what's up. But, you know. Just how it goes. It's the puzzle. It's the puzzle game that we play. Yeah, curiosity and experimentation are crazy important. Like, experimentation fueled by curiosity to work something out is the golden time, I think. But that's not a thick and fast rule in my opinion. That's just what's usually helped me out the most.